I don't think that 15-second clip is indicative of all of his thoughts and opinions. But again, the phrasing was bad. Shouldn't have said sucks the soul. So my plan was re-upload. Because for the most part, my video, again, was about the Twitch shutdown in Korea. I used a little bit of clickbait just to get you in there. I take out the ad. We're all hunky-dory. But then I fucking go awake today. I wake up today, I should say. And I see a bunch of people giving me shit.
Mango just blew 1.32.
That is my goal.
Hey everybody! Mango just blew 1.32! Let's up those numbers!
Well, welcome back. It's been quite a while since my last video, about 6 months. Yeah, that's not great, but I'm back. I gotta start from the beginning and how this started. Obviously, Hasan made that fucking retarded argument about how the 9 to 5 streaming is hard and soul-sucking.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. So, no. Social battery wise, unless you're in retail, it's very different. You're out of touch. I'm gonna die, dude.
Like, look, I get it. Like, making videos, doing it for like long periods of time, it can get to you. But like, people have it way harder than you, man. All right. I've seen people that like work like 40-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks. All right. And sometimes they don't even get the weekend off.
There's motherfuckers who are accountants in here, and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same fucking way as someone who did a sales job, a real job, okay? I'm telling you, as someone who did both, like 9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably do fucking physical labor. It would not bother me, but I can't fucking do more social shit. That's my point. Like, there are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people-pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are like, I think, customer service type shit.
Hasan doesn't realize that when it comes to like customer service and jobs alike, it's much more personal, and you're actually doing it like either in front of people or you're doing it in a much more personal call than a fucking live stream, because live streams are not very personal. You can also choose to like, you know, ban a chatter after being a little retard, or you can also like, you know, call them out directly. You can't really do that in customer service. You have to be kind and respectful even when they're being complete and total retards to you, okay?
But like, if you're an accountant, or if you're even like in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than like constantly having to do this for 9 hours with like a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like sucks your social battery, and you just tap out after it. Yeah, think about it this way. Like, you give presentations for your job, right? Imagine giving a presentation for 9 hours straight. It's like, after a while, you would be like, I don't want to talk ever again.
And when it comes to, you know, a meeting, you can't just like shout at your boss. You can't shout at like your coworkers that are there or whoever you're meeting with, right? It's not the same thing, okay? And especially with how Hasan sometimes treats his chat.
Hope that the rest of your life is as horrible as it is every single day, okay? There you go.
It's definitely not the same thing, like at all. But Ludwig made a good video in response to what Hasan said, because it was leading to a greater point about South Korea's shutdown. So essentially the point of it was he's showing how a lot of like streamers can have it hard, but he knows how to actually articulate it compared to Hasan.
But there are a lot more streamers out there who do have it rough. And once you reach the 2,000th biggest streamer in the world, which is very impressive to do. 2,000. Imagine you're the 2,000th best computer programmer in the world. You'd be damn fucking good at your job. They make a whole lot less money. Now you might look at this and be like, Ludwig, they're making $100,000. This is split over 2 years. So they're making $50,000 a year. Now these numbers are a bit outdated. It comes from the Twitch leaks. But bear in mind, those Twitch leaks came from when Twitch was a bigger website. So arguably the 2,000th biggest streamer, especially with the reduction in how much you make per sub, is making less than they were 2 years ago. It's about $50,000 a year. But it does get even worse for some streamers. Specifically, today, it got a whole lot worse for a lot of streamers because they woke up and the website that they used to stream on, that they built their career on, that they made their community in, is gone.
So he talks about how, like, yeah, some streamers may have it hard because, you know, they have lower views and they're making less money now than they are then. And even so, like, a year later, they're probably making even less money. And, like, of course, he's like, hey, to the outside person, it's understandable why you don't fucking like streamers, right? Because, you know, they're way more successful. They make way more money. They work way less harder than the average person does.
I think it's dumb, okay? Because I understand that I'm in a very fortunate position. And I'm in a fortunate position that I don't want to lose. So I work really hard to not lose it. But I don't give a fuck about telling you how hard I work. I just do that because I want to make sure the 30 employees I have still have jobs and that I don't get beaten out by the people who are a lot younger and funnier and more in touch than I am. Because, man, motherfucker, I'm getting old. People tell me every goddamn day. I like the spot I'm in. But I understand there's a lot of people who just outright fucking hate me or maybe an Asman or a Hasan or whoever because we are streamers. Which, looking from the outside, we are people who make money by playing video games or watching videos or just talking about stuff. That's a whole lot better of a career and an upward trajectory path than most jobs. And most jobs in America are like retail, cashier, places without as much upward mobility.
Even like someone like an accountant has to work way more, or somebody that works, you know, in any normal job, because to think about it, the average job is working in retail or working in like a grocery store. And it sucks because you have to deal with like shitty people all the time. You had to, you know, manage a lot of your time around work. And if you skip a day, your paycheck's fucked. A lot of like higher tier streamers like Hasan and shit and him are like privileged, right? He doesn't deny it. He's like, yeah, we have it way better than everyone else. And he's like fortunate enough to actually have his own career outside of streaming, like with a ton of employees under his belt. It's like a separate job he has. If anything, that's way harder than what Hasan's doing, because Hasan, he probably has like a couple of editors, but compared to what Ludwig was doing, especially at the time, it's probably a lot harder. But then Hasan, he didn't really like Ludwig's video, right? He starts fucking pissing and crying. He's like, oh my god, I know I haven't talked about it in a while, and people keep bringing it up, even though at the time it was like a few days, so it wasn't even that long.
Oh god, it's just like, what's funny is you haven't even addressed this again since then. I know. It's just an opportunity for every single person to be like, look guys, I'm a content creator. I'm really privileged. Like, yeah, dog, we all are. We all talk about it all the fucking time. It just annoys me because like, it's such a fake fucking thing to do. It's just literally using someone who you're friends with, like being maliciously clipped out of context to be like, I'm actually one of the good content creators. You show the context though, it doesn't fucking matter that he showed the context. It's just a way to just literally farm off the fucking drama. Whatever, fuck it.
Don't they teach vocabulary in Canada?
They literally don't. They literally don't.
After, you know, Hasan, you know, makes his little complaint and he reacts to the stream, Ludwig, like, takes it down, right? He unlists it. He edits the video and fixes it, right? Because he's like, oh, fuck, shit. Because, you know, like, you gotta be part of that, like, general audience of, like, the cool people, right? It's like Hollywood, but even gayer. But basically, he changes the context of the video a bit. Yes, it's still a little bit about the South Korea thing, but it undermines like the actual streamers getting fucked over. It's actually so fucked up. So he like carefully changes like the alignment to align with Hasan a little bit more, and it's so fucking strange. He's also very careful with his wording. Instead of saying Hasan's wrong, he's like, Hasan would probably agree with. It's like a little thing, but like if you really think about it, that's like how you kind of calm someone down and how you make someone, you know, more agreeable with you. And it's ways to get Hasan off his ass when the re-upload came up.
About after it.
And the term social battery is probably a lot more acceptable to most people than the term soul. People don't like the term soul because a soul-sucking job to most people would be like a job that doesn't have upwards mobility, which, again, I think Hasan would agree with, and I personally agree with, because I worked at Apple support for 2.5 fucking years, like literally helping boomers reset their Apple password, and in the final 6 months, and I think part of it's because my girlfriend at the time cheated on me, so I was going through it, I would throw my headset at the wall because I couldn't handle a sweet 70-year-old lady trying to figure out how to reset her password. I just couldn't handle that social interaction, which is bad of me.
He said that like nobody really cares about the context and it's only for clout, which is complete bullshit. And it's obvious he was trying to defend Hasan more. And he starts going, it's so weird because in the video he starts going after like random ass comments, like rightfully pointing out, hey, why'd you take down the video? There was like no needing of taking it down. And he's like, oh, it's because I was gonna re-upload it. I mean, it's obvious that he just wanted to appease Hasan more. And it sucks because in his initial video, again, he made a way better argument on how it's harder for some streamers.
People don't really give a shit about the context. People don't really give a shit about the conversation. They just care about getting Twitter likes, which is all this really is, which is why people like fucking Keemstar are tweeting out shit like this, just, you know, just for a dunk sesh, because nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody gives a rat's ass about the facts or about any people involved. They just care about a little Twitter like, little impression, right? That's why they tweet. What is this? Look at this shit they tweet, bro. Why do they all look like Twitch streamers? They don't. What are we doing here? But then I fucking go awake today. I wake up today, I should say, and I see a bunch of people giving me shit. I see all over like random ass videos about Aiden Ross getting scammed, people being like, no spine. Imagine taking down your video because your friend committed social suicide. Why would he private the last video? Whatever. Bunch of people also DMing me.
But obviously he's doing it because, you know, he wants to look good in front of Hasan. He wants to look good in front of all of these like far leftist people. It's just true. Like even like Asmongold at the time, because he's always a grifter and I never liked the guy, keep in mind. He was like bootlegging Hasan. So like he wants to look good in front of like that sphere of Twitch streamers.
And this clip wasn't parroted alone by Hasan. It was also Asmongold who agreed with Hasan and said this.
You really think that's not true? I mean, you really think it's not true that after you spend 9 hours being investigated by thousands of people with every facial movement, everything you say, every word, with people constantly trying to disagree with you and fight with you, that's not socially draining?
So clearly here you can show that Ludwig really likes to change like his videos. He's willing to enlist and like completely edit and completely change a good amount of the context of an original video, all because he made his so-called friend a little bit upset, and he's willing to like backtrack on some of his points just for that reason. I started a little bit of this before any of the Destiny allegations came out, so I didn't know that he was like sending Pixie's like pictures and shit to everyone online at the time of when I was initially starting this. So this is coming off like way before that and before anybody knew this was going on. He tries to, you know, he backstabs Destiny, okay? It's so hard to say this, and he antagonizes the fuck out of him in an older video. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the incident where like they were at a party. So Ludwig in like a future tense, and in the future he's just like, oh yeah, fucking Destiny, he doesn't get along with us, he's a bitch. He's a bitch, alright? I fucking hate this guy. Okay, he didn't say it exactly that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Or fucking thought we're cool enough or clouded, I don't know what, and he left within 5 minutes, which is crazy because I remember that day my vibes were immaculate. I got everybody in the room to play this game. We had a bunch of, you know that giant thing of cheese balls? We're at TwitchCon. I remember this. We had this giant thing of cheese balls. I had a fucking circle of like 10 people around me, and we were trying to throw the cheese ball into every person's mouth in a row, and if we failed, we would restart. I don't know how, but I got everybody to start playing this game. We were playing it like it was the fucking Super Bowl. If someone dropped it at cheese ball 8, there was fists being thrown. Just a dumb fucking game that you play with your friends. But I remember he comes in and I go, cheese ball, and he goes, no. And ever since then, I was like, hey, just like every other human on this earth, I hope he does well. I hope he does good things, but the vibes aren't there for me. He wouldn't enter the cheese ball circle. That is the cheese ball vibe check. But look, ultimately, I think I say it's about, dude, anyone. The fucking guy who scammed me out 100K, a guy who's being weirdly mean to my girlfriend, fucking wish him the best. I hope he does the most he can in his life in this short time on this earth to make it a better place, to make the lives of people around him better, and fucking I hope we interact as few times as possible. Driving down the road parallel.
He just starts shitting on the guy. He's just like, yeah, fuck him, right? And like it's clear that like he just does this because he wants, you know, Hasan's, you know, goody itty bitty good two shoes and just tried to look good in front of all of them. Because like in the actual video, he's getting along with them. Like Destiny's fucking around. They're all like playing game. He's fucking broing out in front of everybody.
Alright, it was a good stream, guys. If he hits it first try, I'll give him $100.
First try, $9. Okay.
Dude, you're a millionaire.
Right? They're having so much fucking fun. And then Ludwig's like retextualization of this is so fucking stupid. Because it's clear he's just fucking lying, okay? He's just straight up lying for the record or trying to look good. So in the future drama where everything had to deal with the Twitch demonetization, Ludwig had his 2 cents and he dropped a bit of his input. He did mention how, Dan was part of the reason why, Twitch was losing some revenue, and one of the main culpable people being like people like Frogan, Venoms, and people like that. So he didn't get that stuff wrong, but he didn't get too far into it, like how the whole thing with the word Sabra being mentioned, putting Ethan Klein's face, which is very suspicious, right?
Why they pulled out? But where did the advertisers go? Do they hate Twitch all of a sudden? Well, the genesis of this, as far as I can tell, is when Asman got banned off of Twitch. Because you see, Asman got banned after making some comments about Palestinian people, some very negative comments about Palestinian people. He got banned off of Twitch. And this sort of caused a domino effect where people are like, okay, you ban Asman for saying this thing about Palestinian people, but what about this person saying this thing about this people? And that happened a lot, because this is an issue Twitch has been dealing with for years, which is inconsistency in their bans. All right. And so this became, you can see October 16th is the day Asman got banned, a very common trend. All right. Oh, you ban Asman. Well, what about when Frogan said this, crazy thing about U.S. soldiers? All right. And Twitch got basically controversy after controversy after controversy. But then there was a concerted effort by people to go straight to the advertisers. All right. Because Twitch wasn't buckling. They weren't like banning other people for their comments based off the social media blow up. They were just kind of holding fast. They banned Asman. They're like, okay, we're good now. Please leave us alone. That did not work. They were not left alone. Not only were they not left alone, their advertisers were not left alone. And this is one of the other genesis I can see of advertisers now getting involved after the Asman ban. Basically, it was email. The advertisers that Twitch worked with were displayed prominently in sections that people viewed as like anti-Semitic and get them involved. Okay. He says, fuck Twitch for making me do this cancel culture, cuck fucks and blueser shit, but that is exactly what happened. It was a attempt at creating an adpocalypse. Attempt very successful. Now Twitch tried to curb this. They tried to appease advertisers, and also the Anti-Defamation League was getting involved, and they banned several Arab streamers following a Habibi rating panel that was at TwitchCon, and you can see the sponsors are in the background of this. This was going viral. I promise you, all of these sponsors got thousands of emails in their inbox after this.
He does slightly mention like anti-Semitism being a point, because that was one of the biggest contentions Dan had at the time and why he was going after Twitch. But one of the biggest people that was sort of culpable for the Twitch demonetization was Hasan. The thing is, Ludwig never talks about it. He talks about Hasan at like one minimal point, but never to critique him. He never mentions anything bad he did. He never mentions how he's culpable in any single way. It's so minimal that it means basically nothing. He mostly just kind of blames it on Asmongold, because around this time Asmongold was saying a lot of retarded shit because he's a fucking grifter. For both the left and the right. He's just gonna switch to either point that makes him look good. All right, I don't like the guy at all.
So there's currently in Twitch world a piss match, right? Hasan is blaming Asmongold for the adpocalypse for teaming up with people who he says, and Asman is
looking at me and blaming me. I want to say you're welcome.
Taking blame himself and probably talking about DEI again for the 100th time, if I had to guess.
By the way, that little audio cut that Ludwig put in there about what Hasan was saying, that wasn't me, okay? Usually I do little dialogue cuts so that way there's a bunch of gasps or parts of context that are just being repeated again. Usually I just cut that because it's not really important to it. Like if he said Hasan pooped and then he mentioned it again, that's when I would just take it out. But yeah, that was him. That wasn't even me. I'm just letting you know for context sake. But like he barely gets into anything Hasan did wrong and mostly just talks about the other shit, right? He never mentions how Hasan has said stuff about Jewish people, okay? He never mentions how Hasan laughed at the Israeli women being raped when Kamala was on the fucking CNN interview or whatever.
Attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters.
Talking about it. No, none of that. He grubs it all. He just talks about how, oh, it was Asmongold. Oh, it was this, and that. Yeah, that was part of the reason. I'm not going to deny that what Denims and, you know, those other retards did was part of the reason. I even talked about it at length at a video of mine, older video of mine. But the thing is, Hasan was part of it too. He just never fucking talks about it. Okay, so stop killing games is pretty interesting concept to fight against, you know, what a lot of companies are doing. So essentially what the core of it is don't, you know, make games unplayable, basically. Like, it's not like trying to say, oh, if Fortnite gets its servers down, the company has to keep paying for it. That's what PirateSoftware said. That's not what they're saying. It's a very small part of it, but that's not what they said. They're trying to say, hey, just keep the game like alive in terms of we can still play it. Like, the servers don't have to be online, just like let us play it. There's a whole thing on it, and I'll show you a splash screen of everything so you can get the whole context. But that's the gist of it, right? Just like basically I get to own the game that I bought. Because a lot of companies, frankly, they don't give a shit, right? They're just gonna fucking take it away from you and screw you over. PirateSoftware, he makes his own games, right? He's part of a company. He doesn't like that argument too much, and he straight up fucking lies about it. He basically said what I said was the interpretation of it, or initially the interpretation of it, where it's like keep the game servers alive even when the game is fucking dead. That's basically not what it is, but he just goes off on how it's a bad thing.
But I've seen this type of a deal many times in the industry while I've been working in it, so it's not unlikely. If you're going to have to renegotiate on a game that has so few players and is not turning a profit anymore, you're probably just going to forgo the renegotiation. And if those servers are aging, you're not going to want to recreate that infrastructure. And there are some people that'll say, well, just make it all single player. Well, I've explained that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single player, you'd have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. When you already have sequels out and the game has basically no players left anyway, it makes more sense to just move on. I don't find that to be a problem from the developer perspective, and I understand that people find that to be a problem from the player perspective. These are two different ideologies, and that's okay to have two different ideologies. I just won't agree with it because I understand the burden that puts if we raise that problem in the way that we are right now. If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them. And we're going to miss out on adventures like Final Fantasy XIV. And even though I don't play anymore, League of Legends or any other live service game, any of them. You're talking everything, like even phone games, as funny as that is.
Alright, and then he goes into an argument about how, you know, it affects games like fucking Pokemon Go when we get that shit. That's not what people are asking, you dumb fuck. People are just saying, hey, just let it be playable offline too. People aren't asking for these games to be run on for like 5 decades on counting when it's not being played online anymore. And everything, and why he doesn't agree with it, but he just straight up fucking lies about the whole thing. The problem is that he works for a game company. He works partly with Ludwig, and I'll tell you why that's not a good thing. It's basically when the Sony guy Jim Ryan said that how old games shouldn't be preserved. It was so fucking retarded. Essentially that. And Ludwig was like, why is my game getting shit? Why is this guy getting shit on? It's a pretty good reason why he's getting shit on, right? He doesn't want to preserve the game, and you know, rightfully people are gonna be mad about that. But Ludwig just fucking lies, and it's the strangest thing ever. So Rivals of Ether 2 is a game that, you know, he worked on, right? And, you know, of course, like I said earlier, Thor, or fucking, his name is fucking Thor. But it's just strange because obviously he works a bit with PirateSoftware. He just lies about Rivals of Ether 2 getting fucking review bombed. It's just a strange thing to lie about. Like, he's just saying such a bummer Rivals 2 is getting any shit for this. Few devs support their games as much as the Rivals team. They still patch the original Rivals team 10 years after release. People are now review bombing the game because what PirateSoftware, who has no personal stake in the game, works at Off-Brand Games, feels wrong, which first off should be concerning that he works for a company. He doesn't believe in game preservation because he can fuck over the player base if he wants to, really. And it's really like sad, and he's being manipulative about it because this coming from Mischief, there is no review bombing. Like a few comments maybe, but Ludwig is acting like there's like a crap ton of people just like shitting on the game, but a lot of the shit comments came from like November of like 2024. So none of this was coming because of what PirateSoftware was saying. He was just straight up fucking lying for like no reason. And I just gotta add quickly that the only things that were being review bombed, quote unquote, was PirateSoftware's games. So it wasn't even Ludwig's own games. Only super few comments were actually commenting about Rivals of Ether 2 or some other stuff that Ludwig worked on, but it basically meant nothing, so he's fucking just lying for no reason. Also, he's just believing Pirate Software on his BS when Pirate Software is known to be manipulative, first off, a liar, and misrepresents shit. Alright, finally, up to the mango point. The point of most of this video, or a good majority of this video. So, Ludwig has this thing every year called Beerio Kart, okay? So, the point of it is essentially they all get drunk as fuck and they play Mario Kart, alright? That's basically in the name, okay? The thing is, they invite Mango, alright? And apparently the few years before, Mango's been a normal person, okay? This year, it didn't go so well. And of course, they're all super fucked up, and you know, there's some people in there trying to sort of control the situation. Ludwig isn't really doing the best he can. I'll explain that in a moment. In this instance, Mango decides to be a little bit more interesting in a lot of his movements. He starts like humping Ludwig, alright? This should have been the first red flag. And if that's not bad enough, Ludwig lets him drink a lot more. Some of the people there are just like, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this. And they pointed out that he's an alcoholic.
I also get really cold and I might throw up when I chug beer.
This is why Mango was saying that shit earlier.
Mango's been practicing drinking beer for a week. The first thing Mango did is
Mango is like an alcoholic. Mango can drink 30 beers and act the same he does off no beers. He's a machine of a man.
He said he had 7 beers already today.
If you ask him how many beers he's had lifetime, it's probably above 10,000. He's the two-time champion. He's never lost.
Ludwig doesn't really pay attention to this, okay?
Hence why let's take a look at Mango.
Wait, have you started?
Now, do we believe for a second Mango can't drink as fast as Will enough? Do we believe that for a second? PB. That's insane. Mango just blew a .32.
That is my go.
Hey, everybody! Mango just blew a .32!
To be clear, that is dangerous. That's not good. That's not good. That's dangerous.
Let's up those numbers!
That's not good. That's not good.
Hey, Q3, we're going crazy!
I will clarify one thing. The breathalyzers that they use are kind of fucked up. Apparently, they might show like a higher percentage.
Real talk. The breathalyzers are not accurate. If you just had a bunch of alcohol, it spikes it way up. I blew a .3 earlier. I'm nowhere near that.
Your race doesn't define you.
I just want to point out, if Mango was actually
if you think your gender is what stops you from succeeding,
he is not actually at that level.
Paradigms.
The fact that he is standing,
you can do anything.
That's not true.
Drinking.
So in the intro, I said it was like 3.2 or something. That might have not even been the actual number, but you can see he's pretty wasted. So they shouldn't have given him more in the first place, even if it was like a low number. You still shouldn't give somebody like more alcohol. As if it wasn't concerning that he was humping Ludwig already. Like, I know they're friends and everything, and you know, friends do stupid shit. Alright, but the thing is, then Mango decides to hump Maya's head, and he goes up to do a similar thing with Cutie Cinderella, kind of air humping her, and then doing it to some other streamers. I'll show the clips in a minute.
See, we're not drunk, guys. Yeah, we're not drunk. But Mango, on the other hand. No. He's humping toes. No.
End the stream! End it!
End the stream, Mango says.
End the stream!
Emily's chat.
You trying to do foreground or no? Man.
Mango's humping Emily.
I'm not.
That's okay. Okay, I'm ready to play.
Emily, get it. Emily, stop it.
You're doing great, Mango. Very impressive.
Oh! Final words. Wait, should kids do drugs? Okay, all right.
Oh, Mango's so funny. Okay. Okay. I'll just end him with my child. I'll be you at karaoke.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's so fucking weird, and this is what caused an uproar, like on Twitter, on social media, and everything. So yeah, that occurs, and so he makes a response to it, right? And it's okay, but he doesn't really mention how he shouldn't have let them drink more, but he does mention how he shouldn't have celebrated him drinking more.
Did cut off Mango on alcohol about an hour before stream ended, but I mean, he went into it really drunk. And I also personally apologize. I look back, it's very cringy now, but I was like applauding like him getting new PBs with his blood alcohol, which is like, you know, super poor taste, especially on hindsight.
And it's not a good response. At least it's okay. But then his second response is so fucking fake. And he's talking about how, oh, Mango doesn't really want to talk about this, even though his wife tends to disagree. And then finally in his last response, he talks about how he shouldn't have let him drink more. But I'm going to talk about the first response.
There was a bunch of clips yesterday of Mango going around humping people. And I know this because I saw them all this morning. And I also, I think, was getting humped a lot myself. Now, I'm going to say, I don't mind when Mango humps me because I know Mango. It was super weird if you watched any of the clips when he was humping people he doesn't know very well. And yeah, I feel like menace is like a cutesy term that we use with Mango. And it's like, nah, that's just harassment, bro. You can't be cutesy about it. And so like, look, man, if you guys ever listen to me after an event, I'm pretty consistent. I always say my main goal at any event is that the people who are participating have a good time.
Look, I get it's the day after and he's like probably hungover as shit, but at the same time he acts so dude bro about this. He's just like, you know what? That's like harassment, bro. Like, dude, it's so weird. Like, it's kind of off-putting in a way. I don't know how to explain it.
Like, that is like number one, the most important factor which determines a good event. People who show up have a good time. That's what I care about. And I dropped the ball yesterday. I mean, to be real, I dropped the ball. Because not only did people not have a good time, some people had like an explicitly bad time. Like, they were uncomfortable, wanted to leave early, needed to leave early, because they were just feeling uncomfortable, you know? And that's like ultimately my fault, right? That's on me. That's my event. That's my job to do that. So I feel really bad about that. And, you know, I reached out to anyone who I felt might have felt uncomfortable and talked to them. But also, and I already told Mango this, I'm no longer inviting Mango to Mogul Moo's event. Because, like, you know, it's a privilege to go to an event, man. Like, the whole point of an event is, like, it's a fun thing to do, have a good ass time. And if somebody appearing jeopardizes somebody else having a good time, that just can't be a thing.
Okay, as much as I'm criticizing Ludwig, and this isn't the best response, at least he realized that he did fuck up by not letting people be, you know, comfortable and having it be a normalish event. I will say that. At least he's taking accountability in that form, and at least he reached out to them. I just want to throw that in there before anybody thinks I'm just making this whole video used to completely shit on them, which I am partly doing, I'll admit, but I'm just gonna say that for this.
Now, I see a lot of dialogue on like broader implications. I'm only worried about my team, my events, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't speak for the Melee community. I'm not like championing any other action. I'm just taking the action I can take, you know what I'm saying? And the action I can take is the events I control. So for my events, that's the game plan. I talked to Mango, and for what it's worth, he was very like accountable. He was like, I get it, you know, whatever you got to do, I you know, deserve it, really. So he gets it, which is good, because it's definitely not a fun conversation to have, especially hungover as shit, thrown up. But it's also important to do it, and important to do it quickly today, because like, I don't want this to impact Master Baker. Like, I don't want to be at Master Baker and it be awkward or weird. Now, you know, luckily I talked to everyone. Everyone seems good. It was more like, hey, it was weird, it was uncomfortable, I didn't want to be there, you know. So still doing that. Still probably gonna go to Adaps after and watch the NBA Finals. But that was a big T. What happened? There's a bunch of clips, but the short of it is Mango was just harassing a bunch of people at the event. And it wasn't like, I mean, you could see the clips. It wasn't like with people he is familiar enough, like with a rapport, to do that. You know what I'm saying? It is a tough watch. There's a reason I'm not watching. It's not a fun watch. I've seen them. It's a ooh. So you guys can, it's out there. It's easy to find. It's a hard watch for sure. And then I guess, some people I see are like, oh, why'd you even invite him in the first place? This is our third Beerio card event. Like we've done this twice before with Mango both times, and it wasn't a problem. So that was my expectation going into this. And I only think I was actually there for like one interaction with Emily where Mango was like being in my thought in the moment too touchy. So I put a stop to that, but I didn't really I was too locked in, I think, on like running the event, commentating, playing to like keep track of that.
The second one is talking about how, nobody really truly cares about Mango, unlike me.
But he asked of me to not speak on it. And I think that's a fair request. He said, I want to take it on the chin. I think the drama is dying out. He's spending time with his kid. He started day one of not drinking yesterday, which is dope. And I think genuinely, there's a perception of Mango that people have in their mind, but they don't actually care about him. I don't think they'll be in his stream when he's back to streaming in a month or whenever it is. And he was messaging me. He was like, Tectone followed me. Who the fuck is Tectone? You know what I'm saying? It's it's not a very genuine pursuit of the people who speak on Mango's behalf.
And I wouldn't doubt that a lot of the people who were defending Mango are just doing it because they don't like Ludwig. But I'm doing this from a point of both of them are fucking retards. I'm not choosing sides in this, okay? First off, he shouldn't have done that while drunk. And Ludwig shouldn't have let him drink more, okay? They're both fucking idiots. That's the gist of it.
And I know that because I speak to Mango. Because I am still friends with him. And I banned him from my events because I felt I had to, because my girlfriend and my girlfriend's best friend Maya are in my room at 2 a.m. telling me that they felt really uncomfortable at my own event. So I think a lot of people want me to take accountability. I think I said my piece on it. And I think if people don't fuck with me, that's totally chill. And if anyone in here don't fuck with me, I think that's totally chill. I actually don't mind that. I can't control that aspect. I don't need to be liked by people, but it is what it is.
All right, he says, I don't need to be liked by people. I've said my piece on this. First off, he's mentioned this twice more, okay? So he's fucking lying about that part. And third off, he fucking changed his video on Hasan because Hasan got all pissy, poo-poo about it, all right? So he's just fucking lying, for no fucking reason, okay? I doubt he's matured much about that. If Hasan got pissed at him again, he's gonna fucking change things again, okay? Let's be real. He doesn't give a shit. And I wouldn't doubt that he's friends and he's gonna try to go by his word with Mango more. But like I said, he mentions it again, twice more by another portion of the VOD, and another time when he makes it a finally actually pretty decent response. It's just weird.
I don't understand necessarily why Twitch banned Mango and not me. I don't even know if I necessarily agree with it. I think it'd be fine if Twitch banned me. But I'm not Twitch. I'm not going to personally ban myself. I don't think it's my responsibility. I think my responsibility is to just fucking keep trudging through life because the world keeps spinning and it doesn't stop. And deal with Mango in a personal way, but it doesn't need to be public, especially if that's his desire, right? Especially if that's what he asks. And I thought about maybe I should make a mogul mail and address it all and talk about it. And then I was like, well, who am I doing this for? Ultimately, I'm doing it to change the opinion that other people have of me, as opposed to doing what I think is actually more important, which is just, going through life, attempting to be better in different arenas. It doesn't matter if people think I'm doing better. It matters if I think I'm doing better and the people around me think I'm doing better.
He makes such a fucking nerd response, okay? He's just he throws accountability out the window to say, as long as people I know think I'm doing better, that's all they really need. When people are just asking actually good response. But I'm just trying to show you that he threw accountability out the window. Alright, when he sort of already took it at the beginning. It just for no fucking reason. It's so fucking weird. It's obviously he doesn't just want to, take it in any sort of form. If he just made that initial response and shut up about it, I would have been okay, fine.
I don't need to change people's minds and whatnot. That is a purely selfish endeavor to be viewed upon more favorably, but who cares about being viewed upon more favorably? We all get buried under the dirt at the end of the day, and I think we should just do our best to help the people around us as we go through our life.
And then the third response is when he finally takes some form of accountability.
I honestly think the biggest mistake I made is I said, if someone asked me if I feel guilty, and I said no. And I think that was my biggest mistake, was saying that. And I do regret saying that. And I was thinking, do I feel guilty about banning? But I feel guilty about the situation happening. I think that was honestly like my biggest fuck up. But I like, there's no point, I think, in like trying to appease people who aren't even in the situation, you know? It don't really help me. It doesn't even help them. Like, I'm thinking about it from my perspective. When I get mad at someone because I'm into some drama, there's really no apology you can do. I just want to be fucking mad at him for a while and chat shit on him. So I think it's the same here. But, you know, I think however people feel is fine. Drama leeches are annoying. I think it's fine. I think it's like, I totally understand it. I understand why it exists, and I understand why people watch it. And I have no, oh my God, this Leon is nasty. I have no desire to, I don't know, like be viewed in a more positive light, if that makes sense. I'm not rage baiting. I just wish he would say he shouldn't have had Mango at the event. I think we should have cut off Mango way earlier. I think I shouldn't have done the breathalyzers. That was dumb. I don't think the breathalyzers were legitimate. I think people like saying 0.32 is near death are not being very genuine, because it's just not. Doug literally said in the clip about breathalyzers, so I think that's like, I don't feel like it's very sincere when people say that, but it still is dumb to have, and it was dumb to like cheer being more drunk. I regret that, but I don't know. I had him at 2 other Beerio Kart events and there's no problem. So it's, I think I just didn't realize how bad it was. I wish I had realized, but I just didn't, and I don't know how I would have. I think I might have just been too ignorant. But I also think some people talk about Mango like he's dead. He's gonna be back. I think, like, I really hope his sobriety goes well. He's gonna be back. He's gonna be better than ever. I truly think that. Like, I really truly believe that. Like, he'll be healthier. He'll be happier. Like, I truly think, you know, if he's sober for like a year, he'll be leading such a better life. People talk about him like his career's over and his life is over. It's just not true. But, you know, that's a time will tell.
Now, that was the response that he should have made in the first place, okay? He should have not said anything right after the event when he was hungover, and just said that, okay? Because the first one was okay, but he was hungover. The second one, he fucking throws accountability out the window, and for like no fucking reason. And then the third one, he's finally like, okay, I shouldn't have said, I shouldn't care. And that's what he should have done at the beginning. But it shows you that his hand was forced. That's basically the only reason, because he got backlash from it. That's the only reason. If nobody had backlash about how he had responses, he wouldn't have said anything. And you can tell that he's really only responding to like a lot of commenters. But that is the response he should have made in the first place. It shows that he only gets his hand forced and then he does it, which is ironic because he said he doesn't care about how people perceive him, even though he's like responding to people questioning about him. It's just very interesting, and I just think it's very strange too. As you can see from everything I showed you, Ludwig will just make a response that's normal, throw it under the bus if he gets any sort of scrutiny, will either just forfeit all like accountability that was originally done or taken, and then finally after backlash will just like respond to it. With Hasan, he got shit on by Hasan, so he's like, fuck, I gotta delete the video, with no fucking spine, by the way. Is shitting on some of his viewers and then being like, okay, I'm making this response, and then he just throws out whatever he said originally, right? Because he doesn't really have a spine. With Destiny, he throws Destiny under the bus because he just wanted to look cool and basically in front of Destiny's friends, right? Because if Hasan didn't hate Destiny, he wouldn't have made that response. With PirateSoftware worked with him, and he was willing to believe somebody who's shown to lie about fucking people review bombing a game when that barely even happened. And then with this, he fucking like throws out his response, and then it comes back to it with enough backlash. It really shows you that he doesn't really have much of a fucking spine, and he's just willing to either go by popularity, even though he says he doesn't really agree with it, or go by what people like Hasan like to hear and what they say, because he just wants to be part of that kind of club. It's honestly like really sad, and it shows that he's fake. He's not really a normal person, okay? And I will give him kudos on his last response where he finally took accountability, but it only was done because his hand was forced, but I'll give him that. So anyway, that's the end of this very long fucking video. Oh boy, it's gonna take a bit to export, ain't it? But yeah, that's the end of the video. I'll upload whenever I feel like it. See ya in the next video, I guess.